Hello there YouTubers and welcome to another movie review. This time I thought that I would take a look at a lesser known movie, and this is Meet Joe Black. Now I say lesser known movie, some of you watching this will probably know what this movie is all about, but for those of you who don't, I'll briefly explain what it is. Joe is basically an angel, and he comes down, he's played by... That's great timing, isn't it? So we'll start that bit again. This angel, who is Joe Black, he comes down basically to take Anthony Hopkins' life, because Anthony Hopkins is in this film, and this angel is played by Brad Pitt, and basically that is the outline of the film. Oh yeah, there's also a love story going on as well, because why not? The movie has quite a big runtime, and that's basically what my main gripe of the movie is. I don't think that this is a terrible movie by any means, but I don't think it's great, if I'm honest with you. I don't think it's a great movie at all, despite having the likes of Anthony Hopkins and Brad Pitt in this, and a bunch of other people who were in this film as well, who are just there, I guess, and a lot of them I've never seen again in any of the films, for me anyway. There's a lot of scenes, particularly between Brad Pitt and the love interest. I mean, the whole basis of that goes by, you see him earlier on in the film, and he's actually another character. And what happens to this character is, just out of nowhere, what we see for the remainder of this film is an embodiment of this same person, but he's been taken over by this angel, or I suppose death in a way. Death is supposed to be more threatening, whereas you don't really get that because he is played by Brad Pitt, and in this film in particular, he doesn't look threatening at all. He just looks like some nice person. But I guess that's probably what they were going for anyway. So what I've just told you is basically more or less the whole plot. I mean, yeah, there's over a couple of things going on as well, but that is pretty much all that goes on. So this girl as well, it happens to be Anthony Hopkins' daughter in this film as well, because why not? It's like the mother of all coincidences, isn't it? It's one of those big cliches in movies, and it just happens to be that he is her father, basically, and she falls in love with him, not realising that he is something else. I mean, he was a pretty nice guy before he got killed, so you know, it's pretty expected that she would be head over heels and all that over him when he comes back, and she has no idea that actually he's just someone who's just trying to kill Anthony Hopkins, basically, and take his life. His time is up. He's about to die. I mean, as always, Anthony Hopkins is great. I mean, what is he not great in? I recently saw him in Westworld, and I highly recommend you check that out, because that is a good series to watch. And yeah, Brad Pitt does a good job. Certainly an interesting character, one of the most interesting characters he's played, I'd say. Quite a weird character, especially as like he acts like really weird, like all the way through the film, more or less. So yeah, and then you got that whole thing as well with the boss's son. Anthony Hopkins is the boss. His son-in-law to be, I guess, who is like his daughter's boyfriend before Brad Pitt comes along. He's sort of like the antagonist of the film, and like he wants to take over his business and la da 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 da. It's just one of those cliche storyline things. But apart from that, do I think that this is a film worth watching? I probably would say something like on a Sunday afternoon thing. If it was on TV, then yeah, I probably would give it a watch. However, my main gripe with this film is it just goes on for too long. It's too long, this film, and it's like the last half hour or so, it's just like, come on, I want this film to end. It just goes on so long. I mean, we get it. He's here to take his life. Do it already. It just goes on for too fucking long, because by the end of it, you're so bored by it, and like when it all ends, you don't feel satisfied at all by the ending. I mean, the ending of the film, I don't feel at all like, oh wow, what a great ending. To be honest, I was just like, yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, it's not a terrible film, but neither is it a great film. It's pretty average, to be fair, and I think the thing that lets it down the most is the fact that it goes on for too long. It keeps regurgitating the same thing over and over again. It keeps regurgitating the same thing over and over again. The same thing over and over again. Over and over again. But this film did do well at the box office, though. Do you know why that is?
Sense much fear. It's dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you? Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Yes, this film was actually attached with a trailer that came out before the film, and that was a trailer for none other than Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which of course at that time was a pretty big deal back in the late 1990s. So my verdict for this film, I'm going to give this film a 6 out of 10 because I think that the two main leads, they do a great job. Hopkins is awesome. Brad Pitt is good. I don't really care much for the rest of the cast, I'll be completely honest with you. And the film, it just goes on for too long. And yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say about this particular film. I want to get that off my chest because I saw it the other day. I thought, right, I want to do a video about it. So there you have it. That is my review for Meet Joe Black. Stay tuned for more reviews.